week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics here in Monroe, Louisiana. The new Clint's Comics. It's on 3112 Louisville Avenue in the Eastgate Shopping Center. It is right next to H&R Block. All right, as y'all can see, I'm wearing a New Orleans Saints themed Comic Hero tee along to go with the Saints hat. Now the reason being, I know football season is still a few months away. However, if you're a Saints fan or like me, then you're right now you're mourning the loss of former defensive end Will Smith, who was tragically murdered last weekend in New Orleans, and also former Saints fullback and broadcaster Hokie Gajan. He passed away from a long-time battle with cancer. So I'm doing this episode in tribute to them. All right, it's time to give away a free T-shirt. Now, a few days ago when I did episode 106, I asked, what state is Smallville located in? Well, the answer is Kansas. And 7 people answered correctly. And their names are inside this bag, and I'm going to pull their name for a free T-shirt. So the winner of the free T-shirt for this episode is Mitch Wyatt. So congratulations, Mitch. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, now here's the question for this week. What borough of New York is Spider-Man from? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero tee. So I gotta ask, any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't Questions
I have one question for this week, and it's from Brandon Ringo from West Monroe, Louisiana. He asked, what are your thoughts on the Doctor Strange trailer? Well, Brandon, seeing that trailer made me want to see the movie a whole lot more. I think the trailer was unbelievable. I think the movie is going to be beyond amazing. Now, I have nothing against diversity on any aspects, none whatsoever. And the reason I say that is because in the trailer, Wong, who is Doctor Strange's assistant, is in the trailer, but Wong is a female. Now, Wong has been in the comics for a long time, has been regarded as a male. But like I said, I don't see anything wrong with diversity, and therefore I don't see anything wrong with this. I think it's going to be a great movie. I cannot wait till it comes out. And yeah. All right. That's it for any questions. Now then, no one has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. However, I have one of my own, and this one is Nightworthy. Representing DC, we have Batman. And representing Marvel, we have Moon Knight. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Batman versus Moon Knight. Batman possesses genius-level intellect, peak human physical and mental condition, is a master martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant, master detective, expert escape artist, and utilizes high-tech equipment and weapons. Moon Knight is an expert detective, is proficient in martial arts and armed combat, and possesses increased strength, endurance, and agility, depending on the lunar cycle. Who would win? You would think Moon Knight would have the upper hand because of his latter power set I just talked about, but not so fast. Everyone calls Superman the ultimate Boy Scout in terms of doing the right thing, but Batman is the ultimate Boy Scout in terms of being prepared. As the two are fighting, Moon Knight is wailing away at the Dark Knight. Moon Knight may be winning, but not for long. Prior to the fight, Batman went to the Justice League Watchtower to set up a tractor beam strong enough to move Earth. When the fight began, the tractor beam started to move the Earth in front of the Moon. This causes an instant lunar eclipse, and Moon Knight becomes powerless. He then has to rely on his fighting skills alone, but gets outclassed by the Dark Knight and falls victim to a heart punch. Batman wins, and that concludes this fight
on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown for this week. And if you have a fight request for next week and questions for the Any Questions segment, contact info is down there. All right, it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! All right, there are two things I want to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about was a subject from Mike Hilton. He talked about Avengers Infinity War. Now, there's going to be a part 1 and a part 2 in 2018 and 2019 respectively. However, the part 2 is not going to be a continuation from part 1. It's going to be basically a different movie. And I really don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it's pretty, you know, Avengers Infinity War is pretty much going to be this one movie that's going to have the entire Marvel universe in it, both heroes and villains alike. And the main villain is going to be Thanos, who first appears at the very end of Marvel's The Avengers back from 2012, and he also appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy and at the very end of Avengers: Age of Ultron. If you don't know what it is, that's the guy at the end of Avengers: Age of Ultron who said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." All right, the next thing I want to talk about is a new part of the DC Rebirth line of books that's going to be coming out this summer, or beginning this summer rather. There's going to be a book called Superwoman, and you're not going to believe who the identity of Superwoman is. Lois Lane. Somehow, she ended up being imbued with Kryptonian powers, and then she becomes Superwoman, which would make sense. You know what? Now that I think about it, she did carry a child who is half human, half Kryptonian. I'm talking about she and Superman's kid, Jonathan Samuel Kent to be exact, who goes on to become Superboy in the new line of books coming out this summer. So it would only make sense that she had powers herself. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Silver Surfer number 3. This is the 50th anniversary issue of this book, or of this character, rather. This is the 3rd issue of the series. And Silver Surfer, for those y'all don't know, his real name is Norrin Radd. He's from another planet. Galactus had chosen him to be his herald to look for worlds for Galactus to devour. Well, somewhere along the way, Silver Surfer said, you know, this is wrong. I can't do this anymore. He rebels against Galactus and he starts doing good. And along the way, he's also found, he's also, in this book, he's in a relationship with a girl from Massachusetts. All right, next up is Captain America number 7. Sam Wilson, Captain America number 7, rather. Now, Sam Wilson is the current Captain America. He was previously the Falcon, and he became the new Captain America after the original Captain America, Steve Rogers, had lost and ended up having the super soldier serum siphoned from his DNA by some guy called the Iron Nail. And has been easy for him. He tried to take a political stance and it backfired on him, and everyone's like, we don't want him to be Captain America anymore.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you, Silas. All right, next up is Batman Superman number 31. This is part 2 of the Super League story arc. Now, in part 1, which was Superman number 51, which came out last week, Superman discovered that he was dying. Now, it was from the residual effects of being exposed to a whole bunch of kryptonite, which gave him a new set of powers. And then another was when he ended up absorbing the fires of Apocalypse during the Darkseid War. And then another was when he was fighting the quote-unquote Kryptonian god Rayo. And now he finds out he's dying, and then he lets the two people he trusts the most know. First, Lana Lang, and then Lois Lane. And I guess in this one, he lets the Dark Knight know. All right, next up is a brand new book that just came out 2 days ago. Gwenpool #1. Now, this is unlike Deadpool. Now, Gwenpool, whose real name is Gwen Poole, was just a regular comic book nerd like you and me. But then one day she just became a superhero, and she decided to become basically a female version of Deadpool, minus the scarring from the healing factor from Weapon X. Well, obviously she's about almost as zany as the Merc with a mouse. All right, and finally, Green Lantern Corps: Edge of Oblivion #3. This is the third book in a miniseries, and in the last few issues, the Green Lantern Corps had befriended some alien race, and they were trying to protect this city called the Last City. But somewhere along the way, about 2 Green Lanterns, Arisha and Badig, a Green Lantern a squirrel who's a Green Lantern. Imagine that. Ends up perishing, and then and this didn't really sit well with Guy Gardner. And then when the smoke clears, what does Guy Gardner do? Oh, he punches out Kilowog. All right, that's 5 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 7,270. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. This was a short week because I was supposed to do last week's episode last Friday, but because I had to go on a business trip, I ended up having to do episode 106 only 3 days ago. And right now, it's on YouTube. As a matter of fact, it's been on YouTube since this morning. And the last time I checked, I had 12 views. So I want to thank everyone who has watched episode 106. And I should have this episode up on probably either Sunday or Monday. All right. I want to go ahead and say this. I'm just going to talk briefly about Will Smith and Hokie Gajan. Will Smith was the defensive end for the Saints when they won the Super Bowl 7 years ago. Well, a little over 6 years ago. And, he was a family man. And he and his wife had, I think, like 4 or 5 kids. And, the reality of children not growing up without their father is not fun. I mean, I ought to know because my father passed away when I was 16. And I hope that if the Saints organization is watching this, if Will Smith's wife and kids are watching this, I'm just, normally I don't talk about religion on this show, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this: to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord. And also Hokie Gajan. Hokie used to play for the Saints, and then also he was a radio broadcaster, and he didn't sound like most. Well, because he was from southeastern Louisiana, he had a very, 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 very thick Cajun accent. He didn't sound like radio broadcasters. He said what came out of his mouth, and everyone loved it, including me. And that's the awesome thing about the state of Louisiana. The state of Louisiana. Our southern accents are kind of different depending on what part of the state you live in. If you live up here, it's a bit of a twang, but you live down south, and then you kind of talk like this, no dad, and anyway. Both of them will be missed, and don't worry, one day we will see them again. All right, next week's episode, we'll be back here at Clint's Comics. It'll be episode 108. Don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about, but it's going to be a great episode nonetheless. And also, I want to go ahead and say this: if you have friended me on Facebook, and I don't friend you. Here's the thing: if you watch this show and you friend me on Facebook and I don't personally know you, please identify yourself as a fan of the show. so I can do so. Please, ma'am, please, sir. Besides, I'm not going to just friend anyone. That's not right. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 108 right back here at Clint's Comics. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and who dat, baby? Woo! All right, in the last episode that I did, which was blooper reel. All right, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown, and if you have a request for a Comic Hero Showdown, blooper reel. I was about to say Showdown Throwdown.